The silent power of self-control is the foundation of all true respect. When people look at you, they are not just watching what you say, they are watching how you respond. They are studying whether you bend under pressure, whether you lose yourself when provoked, whether you give away your peace at the first sign of conflict. Most people do. They react instantly, they defend themselves, they argue, they explode. But the one who stays calm, the one who does not flinch, the one who allows silence to speak louder than anger, that is the person others cannot help but respect. Psychology has shown that emotional self-control is directly linked to perceived strength. When someone insults you, they expect an emotional reaction. They expect to see their words pierce you. The moment you respond with anger, you confirm their power over you. But when you choose silence, when you refuse to let them see your weakness, something shifts. Suddenly the weight of discomfort returns to them. They feel their words bounce off, powerless, ineffective. And that moment, though silent, commands deep respect. Think about it. Anyone can scream back. Anyone can argue, but very few can master the stillness of restraint. It is not weakness, it is weaponry. You are teaching others that you will not dance to their chaos. You are teaching them that you are the one who controls the tempo of interaction. People respect the person who can stand still in the middle of a storm. They respect the person who does not give their emotions away cheaply. Toxic people thrive on reaction. Their entire game is built on control, getting under your skin, making you prove yourself, pulling you into emotional battles where they have the advantage. But when you do not react, when you do not feed them, they wither. They cannot play a game that you refuse to enter. Psychology calls this extinction. A behavior dies when it is no longer rewarded. Your self-control starves toxic people of their fuel, and as they weaken, you rise. Respect is the natural result of discipline. Self-control is not about bottling emotions. It is about mastering them. It is about being so aware of your triggers that you no longer allow them to own you. It is about standing so firm in your identity that no insult, no attack, no manipulation can pull you away from yourself. This is why true leaders, true warriors, true visionaries have always been marked by calmness. Their silence speaks more than shouting ever could. When you walk into a room and remain unshaken, people notice. When others expect you to argue but you simply smile and hold your ground, people feel your presence. When chaos surrounds you but you remain collected, people cannot ignore you. Respect grows in those moments. It grows in the moments where you choose patience over rage, clarity over noise, silence over weakness. This does not mean you never act. It does not mean you tolerate disrespect. It means you respond on your terms, in your time, with your energy. Self-control gives you the power to decide when and how to strike back, if you even need to. And often, the most devastating response is none at all. Silence itself can cut deeper than words, because it leaves the other person to wrestle with their own emptiness. Neuroscience tells us that the human brain mirrors emotional states. If you remain calm, others feel calm. If you stay grounded, others feel unstable when they cannot pull you down. This is why toxic people lose their balance around those who cannot be provoked. They feel small, they feel powerless, and that powerlessness quickly turns into respect. Because deep down, even your enemies know the one who cannot be broken must be honored. Respect is not demanded, it is not begged for, it is not forced. It is silently earned through presence, composure, and consistency. The silent power of self-control is what separates those who are easily dismissed from those who are remembered. It is what turns ordinary people into figures of strength. Every time you face conflict, you are presented with a choice to react and give away your power, or to remain composed and grow stronger. Choose control, choose silence, choose discipline. Because the truth is simple, people may not always love you, but they will always respect the one who refuses to be shaken. And when respect comes, it does not come loudly, it comes quietly, deeply, in the way people look at you, in the way they think twice before crossing you, in the way they adjust their tone when speaking to you. That is the power you carry when you master yourself. That is the kind of respect that cannot be faked, cannot be bought, cannot be stolen. Self-control is the crown you wear in silence, and when you wear it, The world bows, even if it does not speak. Words are power, but too many words are weakness. The person who speaks less is always remembered more. This is not a myth, but psychology. Human nature is wired to pay attention to what is scarce. When you choose your words carefully, when you let silence do most of the talking, people lean in, they listen with greater focus, they wonder what you are holding back, and in that wonder, respect is born. Think about the people who impress you most. Are they the ones who speak endlessly, explaining every detail, defending every thought, filling the air with noise, or are they the ones who speak little, but every word carries weight? The truth is, silence magnifies speech. A few words, spoken with calm authority, cut deeper than 1,000 thrown in desperation. People respect the person who doesn't need to prove themselves in every sentence. They respect the one who has nothing to prove at all. Toxic people love to pull you into conversations you never needed to have. They want you to defend yourself. They want you to explain why you deserve respect, why you are not what they say, why you are good enough. The moment you fall into this trap, you hand them your power. Because when you explain too much, you look uncertain. You look like you are begging for approval. But when you stay brief, when you answer with clarity and nothing more, you close the door on their game. Psychology calls this the power of verbal minimalism. Fewer words mean higher authority. Look at history. The most powerful leaders, the most commanding figures, never needed to drown people with language. They spoke in short, controlled lines that carried force. A command, a pause, a principle. That was enough. The world leaned in because the silence between their words carried more meaning than endless speeches ever could. This is not coincidence. It is human psychology at work. We attach value to scarcity, and the scarcer your words, the more valuable they become. When you keep your speech minimal, you also keep your emotions minimal. Toxic people cannot read you. They cannot tell whether you are hurt, angry, or unbothered. That uncertainty makes them respect you. Because respect is not only about admiration, it is also about caution. When people cannot predict you, they fear misstepping around you. They begin to weigh their words more carefully. They begin to adjust their tone. They begin to respect your silence more than their own noise. Minimal words also force people to see your actions. Empty talk is cheap, but consistent behavior is undeniable. When you don't explain yourself constantly, people are forced to pay attention to what you do, and actions, backed by silence, command the highest respect. Words can be debated, actions cannot. When toxic people try to drag you into debates and you simply say noted or understood and move forward, you are telling them that their noise has no weight in your world. They will not admit it, but inside they feel it. They know they cannot move you. There is also a psychological strategy hidden in minimal words. You create mental tension. When you say less, the other person fills in the gaps. They start questioning themselves. They wonder what you meant, what you are planning, what you might do next. This is called cognitive closure in psychology. The brain hates uncertainty. So when you give them fewer words, they become trapped in their own mind, trying to decode you. Meanwhile, you remain silent, untouchable, and in control. That is not just respect, that is dominance. But remember, minimal words do not mean coldness. It does not mean ignoring everyone or shutting people out. It means valuing your speech so much that you do not waste it. It means you speak only when necessary, and when you do, your voice carries gravity. Respect does not grow from talking endlessly. It grows from making people feel that when you speak, it matters. The world is loud. Everyone is talking, shouting, arguing, trying to be heard. But the one who speaks less rises above the noise. They become the rare voice people wait for. They become the presence that silence itself announces before they open their mouth. Toxic people cannot argue with silence. They cannot control the person who refuses to play their verbal games, and when they realize they cannot move you with words, they are forced to respect you. So remember this truth. Every time you are tempted to explain yourself, stop. Every time you are pulled into an argument, stop. Every time someone tries to drag you into endless words, stop. Say less, mean more. Because the less you reveal, the more they respect. Minimal words are not weakness, they are mastery. They are not emptiness, they are strength. Every time you choose silence over noise, you remind the world that your value does not come from how much you say, but from how deeply you live. And when you carry this truth, respect follows you without effort. It does not need to be demanded. It simply flows toward the one who needs no words to prove their worth. Authority is not declared, authority is felt. Long before you speak a single word, people have already measured you. They watch the way you walk, the way you sit, the way you hold your head. Your body is telling the world a story, and psychology proves this story is louder than your voice. Posture shapes perception. When you stand tall, shoulders back, eyes steady, you project confidence. When you slump, shift nervously, or shrink into yourself, you project weakness. Respect begins with the way you carry your frame. Think about it. In every room, people instantly notice who owns their space and who merely occupies it. The one with calm, upright posture radiates silent strength. They don't need to dominate the room with noise. Their presence speaks for them. Psychology calls this nonverbal dominance. Studies show that confident body language changes not only how others see you, but how you see yourself. When you hold yourself with power, your brain releases signals that reinforce courage, clarity, and self-assurance. Posture is not just how you look to the world, it is how you program your own mind. Toxic people are experts at spotting weakness. They notice when you look down too often, when your arms fold defensively, when your body retreats instead of advances. These subtle cues tell them they can push you, they can manipulate you, they can talk over you. But when your posture communicates strength, even without words, you become difficult to attack. A tall stance, relaxed movements, and a steady gaze communicate one truth: you are not afraid, and fearlessness is the language of respect. Research shows that humans unconsciously associate posture with power. In experiments, individuals with expansive posture, open chest, upright stance, wide shoulders, were judged as more competent, trustworthy, and influential, even before they spoke. This is why predators in the wild make themselves look larger to scare away threats. It is the same in human psychology. Your posture is your armor, your shield, and your silent declaration that you will not be diminished. But posture is not about arrogance. It is not about puffing up your chest or forcing intimidation. True authority is calm. It is steady. It is controlled. A slouched person looks insecure. A stiff person looks desperate. But someone who stands grounded, relaxed yet unshakable, commands quiet respect. Their body says, I belong here. I do not need to fight for space. I already own it. That is the posture of authority. Pay attention also to how you move. Authority is revealed in motion. Rushed movements communicate anxiety. Constant fidgeting signals nervousness. But slow, deliberate movements communicate control. When you move with intention, people wait. They watch. They respect. This is why powerful individuals pause before they sit, before they speak, before they gesture. The body speaks first, and the world listens. Toxic people struggle when faced with strong posture. They throw insults, but your body does not flinch. They raise their voice, but your stance does not shift. They attempt to provoke, but your eyes remain calm and steady. This nonverbal defiance unsettles them, because deep down they know posture never lies. Words can be faked. Posture reveals truth, and your truth is clear. You cannot be broken. Self-respect begins in the body. If you carry yourself like someone small, the world treats you small. If you carry yourself like someone powerful, the world has no choice but to acknowledge it. Every time you walk into a room, ask yourself, what story is my body telling right now? Is it saying I am unsure, nervous, hesitant? Or is it saying I am confident, grounded, unshaken? Remember, you are teaching people how to treat you by the way you carry yourself. And the most important thing, posture is a habit, not a gift. It can be trained. Every time you remind yourself to stand tall, every time you relax your shoulders and open your chest, every time you move slowly and deliberately, you are rewiring your brain to project authority. Over time, this becomes natural. People begin to notice something about you they cannot explain. They may not say it, but they feel it, that invisible aura of respect that radiates from posture alone. Authority is not about raising your voice. It is not about demanding attention. It is about being so rooted in yourself that people sense your strength without a word. It is about making your body a silent declaration of who you are, calm, steady, untouchable. Respect begins there. Respect begins with how you carry yourself when you believe in your own power. So carry yourself like someone who cannot be moved. Stand tall, move with intention, hold your gaze, let your body tell the world the truth. You are not to be dismissed, not to be toyed with, not to be disrespected. Posture is not just how you stand. Posture is who you are. And when you master it, respect follows you instantly, without a single word spoken. Power is not always in speaking. Power often lives in the pause. The world is loud, fast, and desperate to fill silence, but the one who knows how to wait commands more respect than the one who rushes. A pause is not weakness, it is dominance. When you pause before answering, before reacting, before deciding, you create space. And in that space, others lean in. They feel the weight of your presence. They sense you are in control, not them. That is the strength of pausing. Psychology calls this processing dominance. When you make people wait for your response, they unconsciously assign you authority. Why? Because the brain equates patience with power. Someone who rushes to fill silence seems insecure. Someone who pauses seems certain. They seem deliberate. They seem like a person who does not need to chase approval. The pause creates an aura of strength that words alone cannot deliver. Think about the last time someone paused before replying to you. Didn't it make you more curious? Didn't it make you question what they were thinking? That is the effect of silence. The pause unsettles toxic people because it denies them control. They want you to react instantly. They want you to defend, argue, and prove yourself. But when you pause, you interrupt their rhythm. You show them they cannot pull you into their speed. Instead, they must wait on you. And waiting feels like submission. The strength of pausing is also the strength of self-control. Most people regret words spoken too quickly. They regret decisions made in haste. But those who pause rarely regret. The pause gives you time to assess, to think, to breathe. It allows your emotions to settle, your logic to rise, and your actions to come from strength, not impulse. Respect flows to the person who always seems measured, thoughtful, unshaken. People notice when you do not rush. They admire it. They fear it. Toxic people despise silence because silence exposes them. When you don't react immediately, they reveal more of themselves. They speak too much. They over-explain. They show their insecurity. And all the while you are watching, listening, observing. The pause gives you power because it forces others to reveal themselves before you reveal anything. In negotiation, in conflict, in daily life, the one who pauses always sees more, knows more, controls more. Research proves this. In leadership studies, individuals who paused before answering were rated as more intelligent, more confident, and more capable, even when their actual answers were simple. The pause creates the illusion of depth, and often it creates real depth because your brain is given time to form a stronger response. People respect the voice that does not rush. They trust it. They feel it carries more weight. But the pause is not only for speaking, it is for action. When everyone else is rushing to respond, to react, to move, the one who waits often wins. In chess, victory belongs to the player who pauses before moving a piece, not the one who rushes with emotion. Life works the same way. Toxic people feed on urgency. They want you to act in panic. But when you pause, when you refuse to be dragged into their speed, you force them into frustration. And frustration weakens them. Even in your own inner battles, pausing saves you. In moments of anger, pausing before you speak prevents regret. In moments of temptation, pausing before you act prevents weakness. In moments of doubt, pausing before you give up prevents failure. The pause is not emptiness. The pause is wisdom. It is the gap between impulse and mastery. It is the mark of someone who has trained their mind to serve them, not enslave them. The pause is also contagious. Neuroscience shows that human emotions mirror. When you slow down, others slow down around you. When you speak with calm pauses, others begin to mirror your calmness. This is why leaders who speak slowly, with silence between their words, command rooms without shouting. Their rhythm becomes the rhythm of the room. That is silent dominance. So, understand this truth. Pausing is not hesitation. It is not weakness. It is not delay. Pausing is power. Pausing is clarity. Pausing is how you show the world that you are not controlled by pressure, by provocation, or by urgency. The one who pauses owns the moment. The one who pauses decides the pace. The one who pauses earns respect without demanding it. Every time you are tested, every time you are provoked, every time someone pushes for a reaction, stop, breathe, pause. Let silence do the work. Because silence has a language of its own, and that language speaks louder than noise. The strength of pausing is the strength of self-mastery, and the one who masters the pause masters respect. Power is never found in being overly available. Power lives in distance. The rule of emotional distance is simple. People respect what they cannot easily touch. When you give too much of yourself away, your time, your feelings, your reactions, people stop valuing you. But when you hold a part of yourself back, when you remain calm, detached, and centered, people begin to see you differently. They realize you are not desperate for their approval, not thirsty for their validation, not dependent on their presence. That quiet independence creates respect instantly. Psychology proves this truth. Humans are wired to value scarcity. When something is abundant, it feels cheap. When something is rare, it feels precious. The same applies to your emotions. If you give them freely to everyone, people take them for granted. But if you guard them carefully, if you show them only to the deserving, you increase your worth. Emotional distance is not coldness, it is clarity. It is knowing your emotions are valuable and not everyone should have access to them. Toxic people thrive on closeness. They want access to your reactions, your vulnerabilities, your inner storms. The more they know about what hurts you, the more they can control you. They feed on emotional chaos because it gives them power. But when you keep emotional distance, you starve them. You deny them entry into your inner world. They may still try to provoke you, but their attacks land on stone, not skin. And in their frustration, respect begins to grow because deep down, even they know you are untouchable. Distance also sharpens attraction. The more people sense they cannot fully figure you out, the more they become drawn to you. This is called the psychology of mystery. When your emotions are not spilled everywhere, people wonder what you are thinking, how you are feeling, and why you are so composed. That wondering creates weight. It makes them approach you with caution. It makes them speak with more respect, because mystery forces people to treat you like someone who cannot be owned. But distance is not about being cold or heartless. It is about balance. It is about giving enough to connect, but not so much that you are drained. It is about listening without letting other people's chaos infect your peace. It is about caring without being consumed. It is about walking away when your soul tells you to, even if your heart wants to stay. That balance is strength, and strength always demands respect. Think of the strongest individuals you know. They are warm when needed but never needy. They are kind but not available to everyone. They listen but do not absorb poison. They love but never lose themselves in love. That is emotional distance in action. It is the quiet separation between your identity and the way others treat you. It is the shield that keeps you safe, respected, and unbroken. Science confirms that emotional independence increases value. In studies, people who remained emotionally detached in negotiations were judged as more powerful and more respected. Why? Because detachment means control. When you do not appear desperate, you cannot be manipulated. When you do not show neediness, others recognize your strength. And when people see you as strong, respect follows. Toxic people especially hate emotional distance. They cannot stand when their insults do not sting, when their drama does not consume you, when their manipulation does not work. They want to see you reactive. They want to see you fighting for their approval. They want to see you break. But emotional distance robs them of satisfaction. You are no longer their puppet. You are no longer their toy. You are beyond their reach. And here lies the hidden power. Emotional distance gives you peace. When you stop attaching your happiness to how others treat you, you gain freedom. When you stop pouring your energy into those who drain you, you gain strength. When you stop explaining yourself to those determined not to understand you, you gain clarity. That peace is rare, and rare things are respected. So guard your emotions, protect your peace. Do not let everyone enter the deepest parts of you. Give love, but give it with wisdom. Share, but share with limits. Remain close enough to connect, but distant enough to stay free. Because in that distance, people realize they cannot own you. They cannot control you. They cannot reduce you. They can only respect you. The rule of emotional distance is not about walls. It is about gates. You decide who enters when and how far. You decide who deserves your presence and who must face your silence. And every time you make that choice, you grow stronger. You show the world that you value yourself above all. And when you value yourself, the world has no choice but to value you too. Distance is power. Distance is protection. Distance is dignity. Carry it with discipline and watch how respect begins to follow you everywhere you go. Strength is not shown once. Strength is proven again and again. The energy of consistency is the hidden force that makes people respect you instantly. Not because of what you did once, but because of what you do every single time. One action can impress people for a moment, but consistency earns their trust, their caution, and their lasting respect. Psychology makes it clear. The brain assigns value to what is reliable. We admire the steady. We respect the predictable. We fear the unshakable. Consistency is that energy. Think of the sun. It rises every morning without fail. No one doubts it. No one questions it. Its reliability makes it powerful. Human behavior works the same way. When your words, actions, and boundaries remain consistent, people know where you stand. They know what you allow and what you never tolerate. Toxic people, who thrive on testing limits, eventually realize they cannot move you. They may try once, twice, or 10 times, but if your response is always the same, their power over you disappears. Consistency drains manipulation of its strength. Most people fail here. They are disciplined one day, distracted the next, firm with boundaries once, then soft when pressured, calm in one situation, explosive in another. This inconsistency signals weakness. It tells toxic people that if they push enough, you will eventually bend, and when people sense you will bend, they lose respect. Respect is reserved for those who stand the same, no matter the season, no matter the storm. Psychology calls this behavioral predictability. Humans feel safer and more cautious around those who act consistently. A consistent person cannot be easily fooled, because their actions are rooted in principle, not mood. When you are consistent, people know your yes means yes and your no means no. They stop wasting energy trying to change you, because they realize you are not moved by pressure. That realization creates respect. Toxic people hate consistency because it removes their advantage. They want you unstable. They want to provoke different reactions each time so they can control you through uncertainty. But when your response remains steady, calm, firm, disciplined, they are forced to face a truth they cannot stand. You are unshakable. The more consistent you are, the less power they have. And the less power they have, the more they are forced to respect you, even in silence. Consistency is also the mark of inner discipline. It shows that your standards are not dictated by circumstances. Anyone can be strong when life is easy. Anyone can be calm when things go their way. But consistency is being strong when it is hardest to be. It is holding your boundary even when you are tempted to break it. It is keeping your word even when no one is watching. That kind of discipline does not just earn respect. It demands it. People admire effort, but they respect discipline. Research shows that consistent behavior builds credibility. Leaders who kept their decisions aligned with their words were trusted more, respected more, and followed more. The same applies in personal life. If you are consistent in how you treat others, in how you carry yourself, and in how you respond to conflict, you build an image of authority. People may not always like you, but they will respect you because respect is born from trust in your steadiness. Consistency is not about perfection. It is about stability. You may fail, you may fall, but consistency means you always return to your principles. You always get back up. You always continue the same path, no matter the setback. That resilience becomes energy that people can feel. They see you rise again and again, and they cannot ignore it. Your persistence becomes louder than your failures. Your steadiness becomes stronger than your struggles. The truth is, people remember patterns, not moments. They will not respect you for one act of courage, but for the repeated pattern of standing tall. They will not respect you for one act of kindness, but for the steady pattern of living with integrity. They will not respect you for one boundary, but for the energy of never lowering it. This is why consistency is power. It builds a reputation that cannot be erased. So train yourself to be steady. Be consistent in your silence when provoked. Be consistent in your calmness when tested. Be consistent in your boundaries when pressured. Do not bend today and stand tomorrow. Stand every day. Because when the world sees that your behavior is not controlled by moods, emotions, or external chaos, they realize you are in full control of yourself. And self-mastery is the highest form of respect. The energy of consistency is the foundation of authority. It makes your words matter. It makes your actions unshakable. It makes your presence heavy. When you live consistently with your principles, people cannot dismiss you. They may resist, they may fight, they may test, but eventually they respect. because consistency is rare, and what is rare is always honored. So remember, strength is not proven once, it is proven every day. Be steady, be disciplined, be the same always, and respect will not just follow you, it will never leave you. Silence reveals more than words ever could. Observation is not passive, it is one of the quietest but deadliest weapons a person can carry. When you choose to observe instead of rushing to speak, you gain access to a world others are blind to. People reveal themselves not through what they say, but through what they fail to hide. Their tone, their eyes, their hesitation, their contradictions. These are treasures hidden in plain sight, waiting for the one who is patient enough to watch. Most people listen to reply. Few listen to understand. Even fewer observe without judgment. But the one who observes silently becomes untouchable. They see the moves before they're made. They detect dishonesty before it strikes. They know who to trust and who to distance themselves from without confrontation, without chaos, without wasted energy. That is real power, to see everything while revealing nothing. Psychology has shown that our bodies betray us far more than our mouths. Microexpressions, posture, restless gestures. They are all signals leaking from the subconscious. A fake smile cannot last under pressure. A liar blinks more, shifts more, avoids eye contact when the truth tightens around their throat. Observation exposes what manipulation tries to conceal. The one who sees these patterns cannot be fooled. They stand above the games, not inside them. Observation is also a mirror. When you step back and observe not just others but yourself, you begin to notice your own triggers, what provokes you, what weakens you, what patterns repeat. This awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence. The one who sees themselves clearly cannot be destroyed by others. Self-observation gives you control, and control commands respect. The silent observer has another advantage: mystery. In a noisy world, the one who watches quietly unnerves people. They wonder what you know. They wonder what you think. They wonder why you don't react like everyone else. Your silence becomes their discomfort. Your calm observation forces them to reveal even more, because human beings crave validation and attention. When you don't give it, they try harder, and in that effort, they expose themselves completely. But make no mistake, observation is not about arrogance. It is not about being cold or detached. It is about awareness. Awareness is survival. It protects you from manipulation. It keeps you 3 steps ahead. It allows you to give your energy only to those who deserve it. While others drown in noise, you build strength in silence. The weapon of observation also sharpens your timing. Because you are not rushing, you can choose when to act, when to speak, when to walk away. This ability separates leaders from followers. The impulsive reveal their weakness in the moment. The observer controls the moment. Respect flows to the one who sees without needing to be seen. People trust the one who notices details others ignore. They respect the one who doesn't rush into chaos, but studies it, understands it, and navigates it with precision. The observer wins without fighting, because they strike only when the strike matters. Never underestimate this quiet weapon. It costs you nothing to use it, yet it gives you everything in return: knowledge, clarity, composure, and respect. The world belongs to those who watch carefully, think deeply, and act sparingly. So stop rushing to speak. Stop wasting energy proving yourself. Start watching, start listening, start noticing what others miss, because in silence, you will see the truth, and the truth will always give you the upper hand. Calmness is louder than chaos. People chase power in loud words, enforce dominance in unnecessary noise, but true strength is found in the silence of inner peace. It is an aura that speaks before you ever say a word. It makes people pause. It makes them look twice. And it makes them respect you without even knowing why. Inner peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the ability to remain centered in the middle of storms. Psychology shows that emotional regulation, the power to stay calm under stress, creates a natural authority. Because when others lose control, the one who remains calm becomes the anchor. They are seen as wiser, stronger, more dependable. That is the aura of inner peace. It is power without aggression. The first thing you must understand is this: chaos is contagious, but so is calmness. When you radiate stability, people unconsciously adjust to your energy. Their nervous system mirrors yours. Their breath slows, their tone softens. They begin to follow your rhythm. That is silent leadership. You don't demand respect, you embody it. The aura of inner peace comes from discipline. It is built in daily habits, how you handle stress, how you speak when anger rises, how you walk into a room when tension is heavy. Each reaction is a choice. Each pause is a training ground. When you refuse to be pulled into every storm, you are building armor. You are telling the world, I control myself, and therefore nothing can control me. That is power at its purest form. Toxic people thrive on reaction. They feed on chaos. They want to see you shaken, flustered, and thrown off balance. But when your peace cannot be stolen, they lose. They realize their weapons are useless against you. Their drama feels small next to your calmness. And the more you deny them the chaos they crave, the more respect they are forced to give you, even if they don't want to. There is a psychological principle called equanimity, a state of balance that allows you to stay steady, regardless of external circumstances. Research shows that people who master equanimity are not only respected, but also trusted. Why? Because everyone knows emotions are contagious. If you can keep peace inside yourself, you bring safety to everyone around you. You become the person others look to when things fall apart. You become unshakable. Inner peace also creates mystery. The loud reveal themselves quickly. The restless expose their weaknesses, but the calm remain unreadable. They show nothing unnecessary. They give no emotional openings. And this makes people curious. It makes them cautious. It makes them respect your silence because they cannot predict your depths. But make no mistake, inner peace does not mean passivity. It is not weakness. It is power under control. It is the difference between a raging fire that destroys and a steady flame that lights the way. The steady flame lasts longer, shines brighter, and cannot be extinguished by wind. That is the energy of someone who has chosen peace over reaction, composure over chaos. Every time you choose not to argue when provoked, you are strengthening your aura. Every time you respond with patience instead of anger, your presence grows more powerful. Every time you walk away from drama without losing dignity, your silence speaks louder than 1,000 words. Respect comes naturally to those who do not fight for it, but live in a way that commands it. So cultivate